The very fact that you are here in this moment reading these words is not a coincidence. It is what I call divine timing. You see, consciousness is the only reality. And your presence here is a manifestation of your readiness for transformation. Let me tell you about the law that governs all manifestation. It's called the law of assumption. And it works with mathematical precision. The mere fact that you're encountering this message is a seed planted in the garden of your consciousness, waiting to bloom into the most magnificent expression of your desired reality. Now, let me share with you what I mean by big changes. Many of you might think of external circumstances, a new job, a relationship, or material success. But I tell you this, the biggest change, the only change that truly matters, is the change in your consciousness. For when you change your consciousness, the outer world has no choice but to conform to your new assumption. In the book of John, it is written, "In the beginning was the Word." This word logos, is your consciousness, your awareness of being. And just as you have been drawn to this message by the magnetic pull of your own expanding consciousness, so too will your world reshape itself to match your new understanding. Consider this. Everything in your world, every circumstance, every condition, every person playing a role in your life's drama is nothing more than yourself pushed out. They are all states of consciousness that you have occupied or occupying or will occupy. The fact that you're receiving this message is your higher self signaling that you're ready to step into a new state. Let me share with you what I call the law of divine timing. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Your presence here, your awareness of these words, is that divine timing in action. It is your spiritual awakening calling you to a higher state of consciousness. Now let us understand what preparation truly means in the context of consciousness. Many believe preparation involves external actions, but I tell you this, true preparation is a movement within consciousness. It is the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled before any external evidence appears. In the scripture it is written, "Before they call, I will answer." This is the perfect law in operation. Your desire for change, your readiness for transformation has already been answered. The very fact that you're receiving this message is the answer preceding your call. Let me tell you about the principle of what I call conscious preparation. When you go to sleep at night, you prepare your bed. Of course you do. You arrange your pillows, you straighten your sheets. Well, I tell you this, just as you prepare your bed for sleep, you must prepare your consciousness for the manifestation of your desires. But remember, this preparation is not about doing, it is about being. It's not about making things happen. It's about assuming the consciousness of it already being done. The scripture says, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness is not physical stillness, but the stillness of knowing that what you desire is already yours. Now, let me share with you what I call the art of spiritual navigation. Just as a ship's captain must understand the stars to navigate vast oceans, you must understand the signs in your conscience to navigate the waters of manifestation. Your encounter with this message is such a sign, a celestial marker guiding you toward your divine destiny. In the book of Genesis, it is written, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to be for signs." These signs are not external phenomena, but states of consciousness. The very stirring within you that drew you to this message is one such sign. It is your I am consciousness recognizing itself in a higher state. Let us explore what I call the law of conscious recognition. You see, when you truly understand that consciousness is the only reality, you begin to recognize that everything, every person, every circumstance, every event is yourself pushed out. This message you're receiving is not separate from you. It is you speaking to yourself from a higher state of consciousness. Consider this: in your dream at night, every character, every scene, every dialogue is you. You are the author and the actor of your dream. Similarly, in this waking dream we call life, every experience is you, externalized. Your recognition of this truth is the first step toward conscious creation. Now let me tell you about what I call the principle of immanent transformation. When water reaches its boiling point, it doesn't gradually become steam. The transformation is immediate. Similarly, when your consciousness reaches its point of readiness, transformation isn't gradual. It is instantaneous. Your presence here signals that you're approaching this point of transformation. Let us delve deeper into what I call the of mental transformation. In the book of Romans, it is written, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." This renewal isn't about adding new thoughts to old patterns. It's about completely revising your conception of yourself and your world. You see, when a caterpillar enters its chrysalis, it doesn't simply grow wings. It completely dissolves before reforming as a butterfly. This is the nature of true transformation. The changes coming into your life require similar dissolution of old patterns of thinking, old assumptions about what's possible. Let me share with you what I call the principle of conscious dissolution. Before any great change can manifest in your world, you must be willing to let your old self dissolve completely. The very fact that you're receiving this message indicates your readiness for this dissolution. In the book of Corinthians, it states, "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye." This change in the twinkling of an eye isn't about time, it's about consciousness. When you truly assume a new state, the transformation is instantaneous in consciousness, though it may take time to unfold in the world of Caesar. Now, let me explain what I call the law of spiritual momentum. Just as a boulder rolling downhill gains momentum, once you begin this transformation in consciousness, it creates its own momentum. Your old world must crumble to make way for the new, just as the shell of an egg must crack for the bird to emerge. Let us now understand what I call the law of the divine timing. Many of you might ask, why now? Why this message? Why these changes? I tell you this, in the realm of consciousness, there is no accident, no coincidence. The timing is perfect because your consciousness has decreed it so. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written, "He hath made everything beautiful in his time." This is your own wonderful human imagination, your own I am consciousness. Your imagination has orchestrated this perfect moment of recognition, this divine appointment with your higher self. Consider what I call the principle of spiritual readiness. Just as a fruit ripens at its appointed time, your consciousness ripens for specific revelations and transformations at the perfect moment. The very fact that you're receiving this message is evidence of your spiritual ripeness for the changes that are coming. Let me share with you a profound truth about what I call the law of conscious selection. In your garden, you wouldn't plant seeds until the soil is properly prepared. Similarly, the demon within you wouldn't bring you to this message until your consciousness was prepared to receive it and act upon it. Now understand what I call the principle of imminent manifestation. When a woman is pregnant, there comes a time when birth is imminent. No amount of denial or resistance can prevent it. Similarly, when transformation has been conceived in consciousness, its manifestation becomes inevitable. The changes coming into your life are like that. They have already been conceived in the womb of your consciousness. Your recognition of this message is the first contraction, signaling that birth is imminent. Let me tell you about what I call the law of the conscious recognition. In the book of Matthew, it is written, "When you see these things, know that it is near, even at the doors." This seeing isn't physical sight, it's spiritual recognition. Your recognition of this message, as significant as your spiritual eye opening to the proximity of your transformation. You see, consciousness follows a pattern of unfoldment that I call the principle of spiritual gestation. Just as a child develops in the womb according to a perfect pattern, your manifestation develops in consciousness according to divine order. This message is a signal that your spiritual gestation is nearing completion. Now let us understand what I call the law of conscious authority. Many of you might feel that change has happened to you, that you are at the mercy of external circumstances. But I tell you this, you are the operant power. You are the one giving life to every circumstance through your consciousness. In the book of Job, it is written, "Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." This decree isn't made with your lips, it's made in consciousness. Your presence here receiving this message is itself a decree that you've made in the depths of your being. Consider what I call the principle of divine orchestration. Every event in your life, every circumstance, every encounter is orchestrated by your own wonderful human imagination. There are no accidents in consciousness. Your encounter with this message is a deliberate orchestration of your own higher self. The changes coming into your life aren't random events. They are the perfect unfoldment of your own conscious creation. You see, when water reaches a certain temperature, it doesn't gradually become steam, it transforms instantly. Similarly, consciousness has points of intensity where transformation becomes inevitable. Your presence here marks such a point of intensity. In the book of Revelation, it is written, "Behold, I make all things new." This making new isn't a gradual process. It's an instant assumption of a new state. The very intensity of your recognition of this message as significant is the heat that transforms the water of your old consciousness into the steam of your new state. Now let me share with you what I call the principle of conscious acceleration. When a rocket reaches escape velocity, it breaks free from Earth's gravitational pull. Your consciousness operates similarly. There comes a point when your new assumptions generate enough momentum to break free from old patterns. Consider what I call the law of spiritual velocity. The speed at which your transformation manifests is directly proportional to the intensity of your assumption. The very fact that you're receiving this message with understanding indicates that you've reached the necessary spiritual velocity for transformation. In the book of Isaiah it states, "For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud." This is the perfect law of consciousness in operation. Once a new state is assumed, it must produce after its kind. Let me tell you about what I call the principle of divine inevitability. When a seed is planted in fertile soil, its growth is inevitable. Your consciousness is that fertile soil, and this message is the seed of transformation being planted within it. In the Gospel of Thomas, which wasn't included in the Standard Bible, it is written, "When you make the two one, you will become the sons of man." This making the two one is the marriage of your present consciousness with your desired state. And this message is the bridge between them. You see, what I call the principle of spiritual bridging is operating right now. Every word you're receiving is forming a bridge between your current state and the state you're being called to occupy. This isn't mere coincidence, it's conscious selection at work. Now understand what I call the law of divine timing. Many of you might wonder why this message, why now? But I tell you this, in the realm of consciousness, timing isn't measured by clocks and calendars, but by spiritual readiness. Your presence here is evidence of your readiness. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it states, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." This here is your own wonderful human imagination, your own I am consciousness. It has orchestrated this perfect moment of recognition, this divine appointment with your higher self. Consider what I call the principle of conscious convergence. Just as multiple streams converge to form a mighty river, multiple states of consciousness are converging in this moment to create the perfect conditions for your transformation. This message is the point of convergence. Let me share with you what I call the law of spiritual momentum. When a boulder begins rolling downhill, it generates its own momentum. Similarly, once you begin this transformation in consciousness, it creates its own momentum. Your recognition of this message is the initial push that starts the boulder rolling. In the book of Exodus, it is written, "Let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them." This sanctuary isn't a physical structure, it's a state of consciousness. Your recognition of this message is the beginning of building this sanctuary. You see, what I call the principle of spiritual architectures is at work here. Just as an architect first sees the completed building in his mind, before any physical construction begins, you must see your transformed state in consciousness before it can manifest in your world. Now let me share with you what I call the law of conscious assumption. Many think preparation means taking physical action, but I tell you this, true preparation happens in consciousness. It's the art of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled before any external evidence appears. In the book of Hebrews it states, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." This substance isn't physical, it's consciousness itself. Your faith in the significance of this message is the substance from which your transformation will be molded. Consider what I call the principle of divine sequence. Just as a flower must first form a bud before it can bloom, your transformation follows a divine sequence. This message is the bud. Your recognition of it as significant is the beginning of its blooming. Let me tell you about what I call the law of spiritual gestation. Just as a child develops in the womb according to a perfect pattern, your transformation develops in consciousness according to divine order. This message marks the beginning of a new gestation period in your consciousness. In the book of Acts, it is written, "These that have turned the world upside down are come hither also." This turning upside down isn't physical, it's a complete revolution in consciousness. Your encounter with this message marks the beginning of your conscious revolution. You see, what I call the principle of spiritual inversion is operating here. Just as a photographic negative must be inverted to produce a positive image, your current state must be inverted to manifest your desired state. This message is the catalyst for this inversion. Now let me share with you what I call the law of conscious precipitation. Just as water vapor must reach a certain point of saturation before it can precipitate as rain, your consciousness must reach a point of saturation with your desired state before it can manifest. This message is accelerating your conscious saturation. In the book of Joel it states, "I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh." This pouring out isn't something external. It's overflow of your own consciousness when it reaches the point of saturation. Your presence here, receiving this message, indicates that you're approaching this point. Consider what I call the principle of divine acceleration. When a rocket approaches escape velocity, it must burn more fuel. Similarly, as you approach your point of transformation, you need more spiritual fuel. This message is that fuel, intensifying your conscious acceleration. Let me tell you about what I call a law of spiritual criticality. Just as water must reach a critical temperature to become steam, consciousness must reach a critical state for transformation to occur. Your recognition of this message as significant indicates you're approaching this critical state. In the book of Daniel, it is written, "And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament." This shining isn't physical light, it's the crystallization of your new state in consciousness. Your presence here marks the beginning of this crystallization. You see, what I call the principle of spiritual solidification is at work here. Just as a solution must reach supersaturation before crystals can form, Your consciousness must reach a point of supersaturation with your desired state before it can crystallize into reality. This message is catalyzing this supersaturation. Now, understand what I call the law of conscious momentum. Many believe change requires constant effort, but I tell you this, once consciousness reaches a certain velocity, it generates its own momentum. Your recognition of this message indicates you've reached this critical velocity. In the book of Isaiah, it states, "For as the rain cometh down and returneth not void," this isn't speaking of physical rain. It's speaking of the rain of consciousness. Once your consciousness is saturated with a new state, it must manifest just as rain must fall from saturated clouds. Consider what I call the principle of divine multiplication. Just as a tiny seed contains within it the pattern for an entire forest, your current recognition contains within it the pattern for your complete transformation. This message is that seed being planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Let me share with you what I call the law of spiritual chain reaction. Just as one atomic reaction can trigger a cascade of reactions, one shift in consciousness can trigger a cascade of transformations. Your encounter with this message is initiating this spiritual chain reaction. Let me share with you one final law, what I call the law of conscious culmination. In the book of Revelation, it is written, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." This door isn't physical. It's the door of your consciousness. And this message is that knock, calling you to open to your transformation. You see, your presence here isn't just another moment in time. It's what I call the point of divine convergence. Everything in your life has been leading to this moment of recognition. Every experience, every challenge, every triumph has prepared your consciousness for this transformation. Now let me give you what I call the 3 commands of conscious creation that you must follow as you move forward from this moment. First, be still and know. Your external world will try to contradict your new assumption. Signs of change may not be immediately visible, but in consciousness the work is done. You must remain faithful to your new state, regardless of appearances. Second, let it be done unto you. Don't try to make things happen. Don't force. Don't strain. Your only task is to maintain the assumption that what you desire is already yours. The how, the when, the where, these belong to God, which is your own wonderful human imagination. Third, go and tell no man. This isn't about keeping secrets. It's about maintaining the integrity of your conscious creation. Don't dissipate your creative energy by seeking validation from others. Live from your new state quietly, naturally, as though it has always been so. Remember, the changes coming into your life aren't random events. They're the natural outpicturing of your expanding consciousness. This message isn't just information, it's transformation. It's not just words, it's the voice of your own divinity calling you to a higher state. Your presence here, your recognition of these words as significant, is itself the evidence that you're ready. The changes aren't coming, they're here. The transformation isn't approaching, it's occurring now in your consciousness, where all creation begins. So I say to you, the sign you've been waiting for isn't coming. It's here. The preparation you need isn't in the future, it's now. The state you're meant to occupy isn't distant, it's immediate. For consciousness is the only reality, and in consciousness, all things are eternally present. Take this moment now to feel the naturalness of your transformed state. Feel the reality of it. Feel the completeness of it. For in consciousness, it is already done. And now I tell you this, sleep tonight in the assumption that everything I've told you is true. Not because I said it, but because you recognized it in the depths of your own being. Let this be the night that divides your life into before and after. For when you truly understand that consciousness is the only reality, you'll know that this message wasn't sent to you. It was sent from you, from the you that you're about to become. The door is open. The time is now. The change is here. For that is the law, and that is the promise. I will share with you the most effective technique I have ever discovered. A practice so transformative that when repeated faithfully, it rewrites the very fabric of your reality. The power lies not in the complexity of the method, but in the persistence and conviction with which you apply it. What I am about to tell you is not theory, but law. It is as immutable as gravity, as serving as the rising sun. When you truly grasp this principle and apply it with unwavering faith, your world will shift with such precision that you will stand in awe of your own creative power. The technique is this. Take your desire, your wish fulfilled, and repeat it to yourself as a present fact, not as something that will be, but as something that already is. 100 times each day, affirm your desire as an accomplished fact. But the crucial detail that most miss, it is not the mere repetition of words that pH, but the feeling of naturalness that accompanies your declaration. Let me explain the profound mechanics at work here. Your consciousness, your I am, is God Himself individualized. When you declare a thing to be true while occupying the state of your wish fulfilled, you are engaging the very power that created the universe. This is not positive thinking. This is the activation of universal law. Consider this truth. Everything you now accept as reality was once merely a thought, an imagination. Your current circumstances, your relationships, your position in life, all were first conceived in imagination before they materialized in your world. The outer world is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner assumptions. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily, you are not engaging in mere affirmation. You are programming the depths of your subconscious mind. You are impressing upon the substance of creation itself the pattern of your desired reality. This is why the feeling is crucial. Each repetition must be accompanied by the feeling of naturalness, the feeling that your desire is already a fact. Let me share with you a secret about this practice that few understand. The number 100 is not arbitrary. It represents completeness, fullness, the totality of conviction. When you repeat your desire 100 times, you are symbolically declaring its completeness in your consciousness. You are filling every corner of your mind with the reality of your wish fulfilled. But remember this vital truth. The words themselves are merely vessels. They carry the feeling, the consciousness of your desire fulfilled. As you repeat your statement, you must feel the reality of it. If your desire is for financial abundance, you must feel the security, the freedom, the joy of that abundance. If your desire is for a loving relationship, you must feel the warmth, the companionship, the deep connection of that relationship. Many of you ask, but Neville, how can I feel something that isn't yet true? Here is the supreme secret. In the realm of consciousness, there is no yet. There is only an ovo. When you enter the state of consciousness where your desire dwells, you are actually entering the reality where it already exists. Your physical reality has no choice but to conform to this new state of consciousness. The universe you see is not outside of you. It is within you. It is your own wonderful human imagination externalized. When you repeat your desire 100 times with feeling, you are literally rearranging the universe because you are rearranging your consciousness, and your consciousness is the universe. Let me give you a practical example. Suppose you desire a particular position in your company. Instead of saying, I want that position or I will get that position, you would declare, I am so grateful to be in my perfect position doing work I love. Repeat this 100 times daily, but And this is crucial. Feel the satisfaction, the fulfillment, the joy of actually occupying that position. As you do this, something remarkable begins to happen. The people around you will begin to respond differently. Opportunities will appear that weren't there before. Circumstances will arrange themselves in ways that support your new reality. This isn't coincidence or magic, it is law. Remember, the outer world has no choice but to reflect your inner convictions. Just as your reflection in a mirror must move as you move, your external reality must shift to match your internal state. This is why persistent repetition with feeling is so powerful. It creates an unshakable conviction in your consciousness. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I tried affirmations before, and they didn't work. The difference here lies in understanding that you are not trying to convince yourself of something. You are instead occupying a state of consciousness where your desire is already fulfilled. The repetition is not to convince, but to saturate your consciousness with the reality of your wish fulfilled. Think of it this way: when you wake up in the morning, you don't need to convince yourself that you are who you are. You simply know it. This is the kind of naturalness you must achieve with your desire. Through repeated occupation of the state of your wish fulfilled, it becomes just as natural as your own name. The universe responds not to your words, but to your state of consciousness. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily with feeling, you are systematically altering your state of consciousness. You are literally becoming the person who has what you desire. This is why the universe must rearrange itself. It is simply conforming to who you have become. Let me share another vital aspect of this practice. As you repeat your desire, you must exclude all contrary evidence from your physical senses. If your bank account shows lack, while you are declaring abundance, you must remain faithful to your inner conviction rather than the external fact. The external will change, it must change, but only after you have firmly established a new reality in your consciousness. This requires a level of mental discipline that few are willing to exercise. It is easy to accept what your senses show you. It takes spiritual maturity to remain faithful to your inner conviction despite contrary evidence. But this is precisely what separates those who manifest their desires from those who remain trapped in their current circumstances. Remember, every time you repeat your desire with feeling, you are dropping a seed into the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Just as a farmer doesn't dig up his seeds every day to check their progress, you must not constantly check the external world for evidence of your manifestation. Plant your seed through repetition, water it with feeling, and trust in the law. The law operates with mathematical precision. Just as 2 plus 2 must equal 4, your consciousness made conceit through repetition must produce its equivalent in your outer world. This is not theory, this is law. I have tested it countless times in my own life and in the lives of thousands who have applied these principles. Consider this profound truth. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything you see in the outer world is simply consciousness objectified. When you understand this, you realize that by changing your consciousness through persistent repetition of your desire, you are literally changing the only reality there is. This is why the universe must rearrange itself. It has no choice. It is not separate from you. It is you pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every event in your world is simply your consciousness made visible. Change your consciousness through this practice of repetition with feeling, and you change everything. Now, let me address a question that often arises: how long must I continue this practice? The answer is, until your desire feels natural. Until it feels more real to you than the current facts of your life. For some, this might happen quickly. For others, it might take longer. The time required depends on your ability to remain faithful to your inner conviction. Remember, time is a human construct. In the realm of consciousness where all creation takes place, there is no time. There is only the intensity of your conviction. This is why some desires manifest quickly while others take longer. The speed of manifestation is directly proportional to the completeness of your acceptance of your desire as fact. This is where the power of repeating your desire 100 times daily becomes evident. Each repetition, when done with feeling, deepens your conviction. It strengthens your acceptance of your desire as fact. It makes your new reality more and more natural to you until it becomes impossible for you to accept anything less. Let me share another crucial aspect of this practice. As you repeat your desire, you must also repeat the feeling of gratitude for its fulfillment. Gratitude is not merely a positive emotion. It is the acceptance of something as yours. When you feel grateful for something, you are acknowledging its presence in your life. This is why I often teach that the feeling of gratitude is one of the highest spiritual frequencies you can maintain. When you combine your repetition with genuine gratitude, you are not only declaring your desire as fact, you are accepting it as already yours. This combination is unbeatable in its manifestational power. Now let's address another vital point. As you practice this technique, you must guard your mental diet with the same care that you would guard your physical diet if you were training for an athletic event. Every thought that crosses your mind either supports or contradicts your desire. This is why the repetition must be consistent and why it must be done 100 times. The number 100 creates a momentum in your consciousness that helps override contrary thoughts and feelings. It builds a foundation of conviction so strong that casual negative thoughts cannot shake it. This is the power of persistence in consciousness. Consider how a river creates a canyon. It's not through occasional powerful surges, but through constant, persistent flow. This is how you must approach your practice. Each repetition is like a drop of water, seemingly insignificant on its own, but powerful enough to reshape reality when applied consistently. Your consciousness is like a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds you plant in it. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily with feeling, you are planting and nurturing the seeds of your future reality. Just as a garden doesn't spring up overnight, your manifestation may not appear instantly. But if you remain faithful to your practice, it must appear. This brings us to another crucial understanding. The law works with perfect precision, but it works according to its own timing. Your role is not to determine when or how your desire will manifest. Your role is simply to persist in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled through faithful repetition. Many fail in their manifestations because they try to dictate the how and when of their desire's fulfillment. This is a mistake. The how and when belong to the law. Your task is simply to persist in your new state of consciousness through regular, feeling-based repetition of your desire. Remember, the universe knows far more than your conscious mind about how to bring about your desire. It has access to infinite possibilities, infinite channels through which your good can come to you. By trying to dictate the how and when, you actually limit the channels through which your desire can manifest. This is why I emphasize feeling over forcing. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily with genuine feeling, you are allowing the infinite intelligence of the universe to arrange the perfect circumstances for your manifestation. You are surrendering the how and when while maintaining absolute faith in the what. Let me share something profound about this practice that few understand. When you repeat your desire with feeling, you are actually experiencing your future in the present moment. You are collapsing time. You are bringing the future into the now. This is why the universe must rearrange itself. You are creating a new pattern in the space-time itself. If you think about this, every moment of your life, you are in a particular state of consciousness. This state is made up of your beliefs, assumptions, and feelings about yourself and your world. When you deliberately enter and maintain a new state through conscious repetition of your desire. You are literally stepping into a new dimension of experience. This is not metaphorical, it is literal. Your consciousness is the substance of reality itself. When you change your consciousness through persistent repetition with feeling, you are literally rearranging the substance from which all things are made. This is why results must follow. It is law. Now, let me address something that often confuses people about this practice. Some believe that merely repeating words 100 times will bring about their desire. This is not the case. The words are simply tools to help you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is the feeling that creates the reality. If you think of it this way, when you are in love, you don't need to convince yourself that you're in love. You simply feel it. This is the kind of naturalness you must achieve with your desire. The repetition is designed to help you maintain this feeling consistently until it becomes your dominant state of consciousness. This is why I emphasize that each repetition must be accompanied by feeling. Without feeling, words are empty shells. But when you combine repetition with genuine feeling, you are engaging the creative power of the universe itself. You are literally speaking your new reality into existence. Consider the biblical phrase, "In the beginning was the Word." This refers not to mere verbal expression, but to the creative power of consciousness itself. When you repeat your desire 100 times with feeling, you are engaging this same creative power. You are speaking your world into existence. This brings us to another crucial point: the importance of persistence. Some of you might begin this practice with enthusiasm, but abandon it when results don't appear immediately. This is a grave mistake. Remember, you are reprogramming your entire consciousness. This takes persistence and patience. Think of it like learning a new language. At first, it feels awkward and unnatural, but with persistent practice, it becomes second nature. The same is true with this practice. At first, your new state of consciousness might feel forced or fake, but with persistent repetition, it becomes your natural state of being. This is why the number 100 is so powerful. It represents complete dedication to your new state of consciousness. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily, you are declaring to the universe that you are absolutely committed to your new reality. This level of commitment always brings results. Remember, the universe is not testing you. It is simply responding to your consciousness with mathematical precision. When you maintain a consistent state of consciousness through persistent repetition with feeling, the universe has no choice but to reflect that consciousness back to you in physical form. Let me share another vital truth about this practice. As you repeat your desire, you must also be willing to let go of your old self-concept. You cannot hold on to who you were and simultaneously become who you desire to be. This is why the repetition must be accompanied by a willingness to change. Many of you hold on to your old stories, your old limitations, while trying to create something new. This is like trying to fill a cup that's already full. You must be willing to empty your cup, to let go of your old self-concept, to make room for your new reality. This is where the power of 100 repetitions becomes especially significant. Each repetition is like a chisel, slowly but surely reshaping your self-concept. With persistence, your new self-concept becomes more real to you than your old limitations. Consider this: every great achievement in human history began with a change in consciousness. The Wright brothers had to believe in the possibility of human flight before they could manifest it. Edison had to maintain the consciousness of success through thousands of failed attempts before manifesting the light bulb. Your desire, whatever it may be, follows the same law. Through persistent repetition with feeling, you are creating the consciousness of your desire fulfilled. And just as surely as the Wright brothers and Edison succeeded, your desire must manifest when you maintain the proper state of consciousness. This brings us to another crucial understanding: the importance of maintaining your new state of consciousness even when your senses deny it. This is where most people fail. They allow current circumstances to pull them out of their desired state of consciousness. Remember, your senses show you the world as it was, not as it will be. They show you the effects of your past thoughts and feelings, not the reality you are creating through current practice. This is why you must persist in your new state, regardless of appearance. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily with feeling, you are creating a new cause. The effect must follow, it is law. But you must give the law time to work. You must maintain your faith in the unseen reality you are creating through your consciousness. Think of it like planting a garden. You don't plant seeds one day and dig them up the next to see if they're growing. You trust in the law of growth. You know that if you've planted the seeds and provided the proper conditions, growth must occur. The same is true with your desire. Each repetition of your desire with feeling is like watering and nurturing your seed. You don't need to know how it will grow. You don't need to figure out the process. Your only task is to maintain the proper mental and emotional state through persistent repetition. This brings us to another vital truth: the importance of living from your desire rather than for it. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily with feeling, you are not trying to get something. You are acknowledging what is already yours in consciousness. This is a subtle but crucial distinction. Most people practice manifestation techniques from a state of wanting or needing. This actually pushes their desire away, because want and needing imply lack. When you live from your desire, when you repeat it as an accomplished fact, you are creating from a state of fulfillment. Consider this: when you have something, you don't spend time wanting it or figuring out how to get it. You simply enjoy having it. This is the state of consciousness you must achieve through your repetition practice. You must repeat your desire from a state of having, not wanting. This is why feeling is so crucial to this practice. When you combine repetition with the feeling of fulfillment, you are creating a new pattern in the universal substance. The feeling makes it real in consciousness, and what is real in consciousness must become real in experience. Let me tell you something profound about this practice that few truly understand. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily, you are actually engaged in a sacred ritual. You are performing what the ancients called true prayer. Prayer is not begging or pleading. It is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Each repetition, when done with feeling, is like a drop of water filling the cup of your consciousness. When the cup is full, when your consciousness is saturated with the feeling of your wish fulfilled, manifestation must follow. This is not magic, this is law. Consider how a mother feels about her child. She doesn't need to convince herself of her love. She doesn't need to repeat affirmations about being a mother. She simply is a mother. And this state of consciousness creates her experience of motherhood. This is the kind of naturalness you must achieve with your desire. Through 100 daily repetitions with feeling, you are becoming the person who already has what you desire. You are not trying to get something. You are acknowledging what is already yours in the reality of consciousness. Remember this vital truth. The external world has no power to prevent your desire from manifesting when you maintain the proper state of consciousness. Your circumstances, no matter how challenging they may appear, are simply shadows of past thinking. They have no power except that which you give them through your attention. When you consistently repeat your desire 100 times daily with feeling, you are withdrawing power from your current circumstances and investing it in your new reality. You are literally shifting the balance of power in your consciousness. This is why persistence is so crucial. Each repetition builds momentum in your consciousness. Each feeling-filled declaration of your desire, as fact, moves you closer to the point where your new reality must externalize itself. Think of it like learning to play a musical instrument. At first, it feels awkward and unnatural, but with persistent practice, it becomes second nature. The same is true with this practice. At first, your new state of consciousness might feel forced, but with faithful repetition, it becomes your natural state of being. Let me share one final truth about this practice. The power lies not in the words themselves, but in the state of consciousness they help you achieve and maintain. The words are like a ladder helping you reach a higher level of consciousness. Once you reach that level, you must live there. This is why I say to repeat your desire 100 times daily. This repetition helps you maintain your new state of consciousness until it becomes your natural state of being. And when this happens, when your desired state becomes your natural state, the universe has no choice but to conform to your consciousness. Remember, you are not trying to convince the universe to give you something. You are declaring what is already yours in consciousness. Through persistent repetition with feeling, you are making your desire so real in consciousness that it must manifest in experience. This is the law of consciousness, and it never fails. What you accept as true in consciousness must manifest in your world. This is why the universe rearranges itself to accommodate your picture of reality, because your consciousness is reality. Practice this technique faithfully. Repeat your desire 100 times daily with genuine feeling. Live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Do this and watch as the universe rearranges itself to match your new state of consciousness. For this is the law, and the law never fails. Imagine, if you will, that your current reality is like a garment you wear. It may feel comfortable, familiar, even inevitable, but I assure you, it is no more permanent or real than the clothes on your back. You can change it just as easily as you change your attire. The secret lies in your focus, in your ability to direct your attention and consciousness. As we step into 2025, I urge you to make a profound shift in your awareness. Instead of looking outward for validation, success, or happiness, turn your gaze inward. For it is within you that the true source of all creation lies. Your outer world is but a reflection of your inner state, a mirror of your consciousness. Now you might be wondering, Neville, how can focusing on myself change my reality? And therein lies the crux of our discussion today. Your consciousness, your awareness is the very substance of reality. When you change your concept of self, when you alter your inner world, the outer must conform to match this new inner conviction. You see, the world you experience is not happening to you. It is happening from you. Every circumstance, every event, every interaction in your life is a reflection of your inner state. These are not random occurrences, but the outpicturing of your assumptions, your beliefs, your focus. This is why many people find themselves stuck in patterns of lack, of struggle, of not enoughness. They have unknowingly been focusing on these very states, giving their attention to what they don't want rather than what they do want. They look to the outside world to dictate their inner state, not realizing that it works in precisely the opposite way. But here's the liberating truth. You have the power to choose where you place your focus. You have the ability to consciously direct your attention to cultivate a concept of self that aligns with your deepest desires. This, my friends, is the key to transforming your reality in 2025 and beyond. So how do we begin this process of focusing on ourselves? The first step is awareness. Become acutely conscious of where your attention currently resides. Notice how much of your mental energy is spent on external circumstances, on the opinions of others, on things beyond your control. Simply observing this without judgment is the first step towards change. Once you've become aware of your current focus, the next step is to consciously redirect it. This is where the real work begins. For the next year, I want you to make a commitment to focus primarily on your inner world, on your concept of self, on the person you wish to be. This doesn't mean you ignore your responsibilities or relationships. Rather, it means you approach them from a different perspective. Instead of allowing external circumstances to dictate your state of being, you choose your state first and then engage with the world from that chosen state. For example, if you desire success in your career, instead of focusing on the obstacles or competition, focus on embodying the state of a successful person. How would a highly successful individual in your field think? How would they carry themselves? How would they approach challenges? Assume this state in your imagination, feel its reality, and then act from this assumed state. Remember, it's not about pretending or faking it. It's about recognizing that the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. When you change your concept of self, when you focus on embodying the state of the person you wish to be, your outer world must reshape itself to match this new inner conviction. As you practice this new focus throughout 2025, you may find that your outer world begins to shift. Opportunities may arise that align with your new self-concept. People may respond to you differently. You may find yourself feeling more confident, more capable, more aligned with your desires. These changes may start small. A compliment from a colleague, a moment of unexpected clarity, a fortunate coincidence. Do not dismiss these as mere chance. They are the first fruits of your new focus taking root in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Now let us address a common challenge in this practice, the apparent contradictions of your senses. As you begin to focus on your desired self-concept, you may find that your current circumstances seem to contradict your new assumptions. How do you maintain your focus in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. What you see around you is the result of past focus, past assumptions. It is like an echo of what you once believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new concept of self than to these outdated circumstances. This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumptions, even when your senses argue against them. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your new focus, shows you what will be. As you persist in maintaining this new focus on yourself, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small, but they will grow. For you are planting new seeds in the garden of your mind, and these seeds must by natural law grow into the fruits of your new reality. Now let us delve deeper into the nature of this self-focus. When I speak of focusing on yourself, I am not referring merely to self-improvement or acquiring new skills, though these can be part of it. I am speaking of a deeper, more comprehensive form of self-awareness and self-creation. It involves the very way you perceive yourself, the stories you tell about who you are and what is possible for you. For example, when you achieve a success, how do you interpret it? Do you see it as a fluke? Or do you recognize it as the natural expression of your innate abilities? When you face a challenge, do you see yourself as a victim of circumstance or as a creative force capable of finding solutions? These self-perceptions shape your reality. For the year 2025, I want you to consciously craft a concept of capability, of worthiness, of unlimited potential. See yourself as the person you aspire to be. Feel the reality of being that person. Live from that state of consciousness. If you desire financial abundance, see yourself as already wealthy. How would a wealthy person think? How would they approach decisions? Embody this in your consciousness. If you desire vibrant health, see yourself as the embodiment of vitality. How would such a person care for their body? How would they think about health and wellness? Let these thoughts inform your self-concept. Remember, this is not about denying your current reality. It's about choosing which aspect of reality you give your attention to. It's about focusing on the self you wish to be rather than the self you think you are based on past experiences. As you practice this new self-focus throughout 2025, you may find that your emotions begin to shift. You may feel more positive, more hopeful, more empowered. This emotional shift is crucial, for your emotions are the fuel that powers your manifestations. When you combine your new self-concept with positive emotions, you create a powerful vibration that attracts circumstances and experiences that match it. This is the law of attraction in action, but it goes beyond mere positive thinking. It is about aligning your entire being, your thoughts, your feelings, your very sense of self, with the reality you wish to create. Now, let us address another important aspect of this practice, persistence. Changing your focus, shifting your self-concept, is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing process, a new habit that you must cultivate throughout 2025. You must be vigilant. You must catch yourself when you slip into old patterns of thought and consciously choose to refocus on your desired self-concept. This persistence is crucial because your subconscious mind learns through repetition. The more consistently you focus on your desired self-concept, the more deeply it will be impressed upon your subconscious mind. And as these new patterns take root in your subconscious, they will begin to manifest in your outer world with increasing speed and ease. But what of those moments when doubt creeps in, when fear arises, when the old self-concept tries to reassert itself? These moments are inevitable, especially in the beginning of your practice. Do not be discouraged by them. Instead, see them as opportunities to strengthen your new self-concept. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Fighting against a thought only gives it more power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your new self-concept. Remind yourself that what you see around you is the past. Your new focus is creating your future. This brings us to another crucial aspect of this practice, the concept of living in the end. Living in the end means assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, of already being the person you aspire to be. It's not enough to think about your desired self-concept. You must live from it, feel it as a present reality. For example, instead of saying, I will be successful, say and feel, I am successful. Everything I touch prospers. Instead of saying, I will be healthy, say and feel, I am the embodiment of vibrant health and vitality. Speak and feel as if your desired self-concept is already realized, for in the realm of your imagination it is. This may feel strange at first, even false, but remember, you are not lying to yourself. You are choosing to focus on a different aspect of reality, the reality of your imagination, which is just as real, just as valid as the reality of your physical senses. As you practice living in the end, through your new self-concept, you may find that your actions naturally align with your new assumptions. You may find yourself making decisions, taking steps that move you closer to your desires. This alignment of inner state and outer action is powerful. It creates a momentum that propels you towards the realization of your goals. Now let us explore the role of gratitude in this process of self-focus. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it is a powerful creative force. When you feel grateful for your desired self-concept, as if it were already realized, you align yourself with the frequency of its fulfillment. Throughout 2025, make gratitude a central theme in your self-focus. Feel appreciation for the person you are becoming, for the opportunities that are unfolding, for the growth you are experiencing. Even if your current circumstances seem challenging, find aspects of your desired self to be grateful for. For gratitude, like your self-concept, shapes your perception and thus your reality. As you cultivate this attitude of gratitude in your self-focus, you may find that more things to be grateful for begin to appear in your life. This is not coincidence. It is the law of attraction at work, bringing you more of what you focus on and appreciate. Now let us address the importance of self-love in this practice of focusing on yourself. Many of us have a habit of harsh self-criticism, of focusing on our perceived flaws and shortcomings. For 2025, I challenge you to shift this focus. See yourself with the same love, the same compassion, the same unconditional acceptance that you would offer to someone you deeply care about. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, focus on your capacity for growth and learning. Say to yourself, I am constantly evolving and improving. Every experience contributes to my growth. When you face a challenge, encourage yourself. Say, I have infinite resources within me. I am capable of overcoming any obstacle. This self-love is not selfishness. It is not ego. It is recognizing your own divine nature, your own inherent worthiness. And as you focus on yourself with love and respect, you will find that the world begins to reflect this back to you. For the world is yourself pushed out, and it can only give you what you give yourself in your own consciousness. As we continue our exploration of focusing on yourself in 2025, let us consider the power of your imagination. Your imagination is not a frivolous faculty for daydreaming. It is the very workshop in which you create your reality. When you imagine yourself as the person you wish to be, when you see yourself living the life you desire, you are experiencing that reality at the level of cause. Throughout 2025, I urge you to use your imagination deliberately and consistently. Set aside time each day to see yourself vividly as the person you aspire to be. Engage all your senses in this imaginative act. See yourself in detail, hear the congratulations and admiration of the others. Feel the emotions of success and fulfillment. Make this imagined reality so vivid, so real, that when you open your eyes, you carry with you the conviction of its truth. Remember, to your subconscious mind, there is no difference between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one. By repeatedly imagining your desired self-concept, you are impressing it upon your subconscious mind as a reality. And your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant it is, will work tirelessly to bring this imagined reality into physical manifestation. Now, let's address the role of action in this process, self-focus. Some people strikingly focusing on themselves means they can simply imagine their desired reality and then sit back and wait for it to magically appear. This is not the case. Action is crucial, but it must be inspired action that flows naturally from your new self-concept. As you focus on embodying your desired state of being, you will find yourself naturally inspired to take actions that align with this new self. These actions will not feel forced or stressful. They will feel natural, even inevitable. For example, if your desired self-concept is that of a successful entrepreneur, you may find yourself naturally drawn to networking events, inspired to learn new business skills, or motivated to refine your product or service. These actions flow from your new self-concept rather than from a place of lack or struggle. This is a crucial distinction. When you take action from a place of lack, trying to get what you desire, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having it. But when you take action from the assumption of already being your desired self, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for its expression and expansion. So in 2025, do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your new self-concept. Let your inner state guide your outer actions rather than hoping your actions will create your desired state of being. As we near the end of our discussion, let us reflect on the profound implications of this practice of focusing on yourself. By consciously choosing your self-concept, by directing your focus inward rather than outward, you are not just changing your thoughts or behaviors, you are reshaping your entire reality. You are stepping into your power as a creative being, as the author of your own life story. Remember, the world you see around you is not separate from you. It is the outpicturing of your consciousness, of your self-concept and beliefs. By changing how you see yourself, by focusing on the self you wish to be, you change the very foundation of your reality. So for 2025, be vigilant. Be conscious. Choose your self-concept with care and intention. Focus on yourself with love, with encouragement, with faith in your own divine nature and limitless potential. See yourself as already being the person you aspire to be. And as you do this, watch. Watch how your perception begins to shift. Watch how opportunities begin to arise. Watch how your reality begins to reshape itself to match your new self-concept. For this is the law of your being. What you assume and feel to be true about yourself must be reflected in your outer world. But remember, this is not about forcing change through sheer will. It is about allowing change through alignment. Alignment of your thoughts, your feelings, your very sense of self with the reality you wish to create. It is about entering into the feeling of your wish fulfilled and allowing the universe to orchestrate the means of its realization. As you embark on this year of focusing on yourself, know that you are embarking on a journey of self-discovery and self-creation. You are stepping into your power as a conscious creator of reality. You are aligning yourself with the infinite creative power of the universe. And know this, 2025 is just the beginning. It is the seed from which a new way of being can grow. As you experience the power of focusing on yourself to shape your reality, you may find this practice naturally extending beyond the year. You may find it becoming a new way of life, a new way of relating to yourself and to the world around you. So go forth with this knowledge. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your self-concept, of where you place your focus, for it is shaping your reality in every moment. Choose it consciously, choose it wisely. See yourself with love, with faith, with the conviction that you are a divine being capable of creating any reality you can imagine.
And remember, persistence is key. The world you see around you is the result of habitual thoughts and self-concepts. As you persist in your new focus on yourself, as you consistently embody your desired state of being, your world must reshape itself to match this new inner reality.
You have within you the power to create the life you desire. You are limited only by your ability to imagine and to feel the reality of your desired self. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding and watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound mastery of your creative consciousness. Thank you, and may your journey of self-focus in 2025 be filled with joy, wonder, and the thrill of manifesting your deepest desires. As we conclude, let us reflect on the transformative power of focusing on yourself. This practice is not about selfishness or isolation, but about recognizing that you are the center of your universe, the creator of your reality. By directing your attention inward, by consciously shaping your self-concept, you set in motion a chain of events that will reshape your entire world. Remember, every great change in the outer world begins with a change in your inner world. As you focus on embodying your desired state of being throughout 2025, You may face challenges and doubts. These are not obstacles, but opportunities to strengthen your new self-concept. Embrace them with the knowledge that each challenge overcome is a step closer to the full realization of your desired reality. In your journey of self-focus, be patient with yourself. Change does not always happen overnight. Just as a seed needs time to grow into a mighty tree, your new self-concept needs time to fully manifest in your outer world. Trust in the process, have faith in the law of your being, and know that as you persist in your new focus, your reality must conform to it. As you move through 2025, let every experience, every interaction, every moment be an opportunity to reinforce your new self-concept. See everything as a reflection of your inner state and use it to deepen your conviction in your desired reality. Remember, the outer world is not the cause of your experience, but the effect of your consciousness. In closing, I urge you to approach this practice of self-focus with joy and excitement. You are embarking on the greatest adventure possible, the journey of self-creation. Enjoy the process of becoming the person you aspire to be. Revel in the power of your imagination to shape your reality. Celebrate each manifestation, each synchronicity, as confirmation of your creative power. Go forth into 2025 with the knowledge that you are the author of your life story. Focus on writing a story of joy, of success, of fulfillment. For as you do, you not only transform your own life, but contribute to the elevation of all consciousness. Your self-realization is a gift to the world. May your focus in 2025 reveal to you the infinite potential that lies within you. And may you use this potential to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. Remember, the only limits that exist are those you accept in your own consciousness. So focus on transcending all limits, on embodying your highest self, and watch as your world transforms to reflect the magnificence of your true being.
We shall explore truths so profound, yet so often overlooked, that it has the power to completely reshape your world and your experience of life. Consider for a moment the image that society often paints of a happy life. Perhaps it involves a traditional family structure, a bustling household, or constant companionship. But I say unto you, true happiness and fulfillment can often be found in the most unexpected places. And one of these places is in the solitude of a woman living alone. But what does it mean to be a woman living alone? And why does this state often lead to such profound happiness? It is not a matter of isolation or rejection of others. It is a state of self-realization, a shift in consciousness that aligns one with the creative power of the universe. It is about recognizing that completeness and contentment come from within, not from external circumstances or relationships. Let us delve deeper into this profound truth. The outer world, every experience we have, every relationship we encounter is nothing more than a reflection of our inner world. When a woman chooses to live alone, she's often choosing to turn inward, to explore the vast universe that exists within her own consciousness. In doing so, she aligns herself with the ultimate source of all happiness and fulfillment. This understanding is crucial, for it shifts the entire paradigm of how we approach happiness. No longer is it something to be sought in the outer world, in relationships or material possessions. Instead, it becomes a state of being, a choice to align oneself with the divine essence that resides within. But how, you may ask, does living alone facilitate this alignment? The answer lies in the power of solitude to reveal our true nature. When we are alone, truly alone, we are free from the expectations and influences of others. We are free to explore our own thoughts, desires, and passions without interference. In this state of freedom, we can more easily connect with our highest self, with the divine spark that is the source of all true happiness. Let us take a moment to truly understand this. Your subconscious mind, which is one with the universal creative force, thrives in stillness and solitude. It is in these quiet moments, free from external distractions, that we can most clearly hear the voice of our intuition, the whispers of our higher self. And it is by listening to and acting upon these inner promptings that we align ourselves with our true purpose and find lasting happiness. So when a woman chooses to live alone, she's not choosing loneliness. She's choosing alignment with her true self. She's choosing to create a space where she can fully express her divine nature, unencumbered by the expectations or needs of others. This is not selfishness, but the highest form of self-love and self-respect. This, my dear listeners, is the essence of why women who live alone are often the happiest people you'll ever meet. They have recognized that the kingdom of heaven is within, and they have created a life that allows them to fully explore and express that inner richness. Consider the biblical phrase, "The kingdom of God is within you." This is not a mere poetic expression. It is a statement of cosmic law. The source of all happiness, all fulfillment, all love resides within each of us. When we create a life that allows us to connect deeply with this inner source, we naturally radiate happiness and contentment. But let me be clear, living alone is not about isolation or rejection of relationships. It is about creating a strong foundation of self-love and self-understanding from which healthy, fulfilling relationships can then be formed. A woman who's happy and content, living alone, does not need others to complete her. Instead, she chooses to share her completeness with others, creating relationships based on mutual growth and shared joy, rather than need or dependency. Let's explore this further with an example. Imagine a woman who has always defined herself through her relationships with others, as a daughter, a wife, a mother, a friend. While these roles can bring joy and fulfillment, they can also create a sense of loss of self. This woman might find herself constantly seeking approval from others, molding herself to fit their expectations, and losing touch with her own desires and aspirations. Now imagine the same woman choosing to live alone. At first she might feel lost, unsure of who she is without the familiar roles to define her. But as she spends time in solitude, she begins to rediscover herself. She explores new interests, faces her fears, learns to enjoy her own company. She begins to understand that she is not defined by her relationships to others, but by her relationship to herself and to the divine essence within her. In this state of self-discovery and self-love, she begins to radiate a quiet confidence and joy. She approaches life with a sense of adventure and possibility. She forms relationships from a place of wholeness rather than need. And in doing so, she often finds that she attracts people and experiences that align with her true self, further enhancing her happiness and fulfillment. This principle applies not just to romantic relationships, but to all aspects of life. A woman who is content living alone often finds greater satisfaction in her career, her creative pursuits, her spiritual practice. She is free to follow her passions without compromise, to take risks without fear of disappointing others, to live life on her own terms. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, isn't this just selfishness? Aren't we meant to share our lives with others? And to this I say emphatically no. This is not selfishness. This is self-realization. This is about understanding that we cannot truly give to others what we have not first given to ourselves. Think of it this way. When you board an airplane, the flight attendant always instructs you to put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. Why? Because if you run out of oxygen yourself, you cannot help anyone else. The same principle applies to happiness and fulfillment. We must first find these within ourselves before we can truly share them with others. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of our inner state. When we're truly happy and content within ourselves, we naturally create a world around us that reflects that inner state. A woman who is happy living alone is not withdrawing from the world. She's creating a stable, joyful inner world that then radiates out, touching and uplifting all those she encounters. This, my dear friends, is the true secret to why women who live alone are often the happiest people you'll ever meet. They have aligned themselves with the truth of their being. They have recognized that happiness is not something to be found in the outer world, but a state of consciousness to be cultivated from within. But let me warn you, this path is not always an easy one. Our society often views women who choose to live alone with suspicion or pity. There may be pressure from family and friends to conform to more traditional lifestyle. There may be moments of doubt or loneliness. When these challenges arise, it is crucial to remember that they are merely reflections of old thought patterns, of societal conditioning that is not yet caught up with the truth of our being. These challenges are opportunities to reaffirm our commitment to self-love and self-realization. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you're trying to listen to a particular station, you don't focus on eliminating all the other stations. You simply tune into the frequency you desire. In the same way, a woman living alone doesn't need to fight against societal expectations or justify her choices to others. She simply needs to tune herself to the frequency of her own inner joy and fulfillment. This tuning is done through consistent self-care, through nurturing one's passions and interests, through creating a living space that reflects one's true self. It is done through meditation, through connecting with nature, through engaging in work that aligns with one's values and purpose. As a woman engages in these practices, she tunes herself to the frequency of her higher self, allowing joy and fulfillment to flow naturally into her experience. But remember, my friends, this is not a one-time event. Living alone happily is a way of life. It's a constant choice to prioritize one's own growth and well-being. Just as you wouldn't expect to stay in shape by exercising once, you cannot expect to maintain this state of joyful solitude without consistent effort and intention. As you persist in this way of life, you will find that your perception of yourself and your place in the world begins to shift. What once seemed like limitations now appear as opportunities for growth. Solitude becomes not a lack of company, but a cherished space for self-discovery and creativity. You begin to see yourself as a complete and whole being, capable of generating your own happiness and fulfillment. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how can a woman maintain this state of joyful solitude when she faces real challenges? How can she find happiness in living alone when society constantly tells her she should be seeking a partner? And to this I say your inner state. Your consciousness is more powerful than any external circumstance or societal expectation. Consider for a moment. Have you ever been in a crowded room yet felt completely alone? Or conversely, have you ever been physically alone yet felt deeply connected to something greater than yourself? These experiences show us that our sense of connection, of fulfillment, of happiness comes not from our external circumstances, but from our inner state. A woman living alone happily has learned to cultivate this inner state of connection and fulfillment. She has learned to be her own best friend, her own source of comfort and joy. She has learned to connect deeply with her own inner wisdom, with the divine essence that resides within her. The key is to make this inner connection as real and vivid as possible. Engage all your senses in creating a life that reflects your true self. Create a living space that nurtures and inspires you. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Cultivate relationships that support your growth and honor your need for solitude. But here's the crucial point, my friends. The goal is not to live alone forever if that's not what you desire. The goal is to become so complete in yourself, so content in your own company that any relationship you do choose to enter comes from a place of wholeness rather than need. A woman who's happy living alone is not closed off to love or companionship. She is simply not defined by their presence or absence. Let me illustrate this with an example. Instead of saying, I need a partner to be happy, a woman living joyfully alone might say, I am complete and happy in myself, and I am open to sharing my life with someone who enhances my joy. Instead of feeling lonely when she's not in a relationship, she might say, I cherish this time to deepen my relationship with myself and with the divine within me. By reframing solitude in this way, a woman opens herself to possibilities beyond what society might expect. She allows herself to create a life that truly reflects her highest self, whether that includes a traditional partnership or not. This is the true art of living alone happily. It's not about forcing yourself to be content with solitude if that's not truly what you desire. It's about aligning yourself with your true nature, with the divine essence within you that is the source of all happiness and fulfillment. It's about creating a life that reflects your highest vision of yourself, regardless of societal expectations or norms. As you practice this way of living, you may find that your outer world begins to shift in subtle ways. Perhaps you start to attract friends who truly understand and support your choices. Or you find yourself excelling in your career because you're no longer seeking validation from others. Or you discover a deep sense of peace and contentment that you never knew was possible. Don't discount these changes. Celebrate them. See them as confirmation that you are aligning with your true self, that you are tapping into the infinite source of happiness that resides within you. But don't become attached to these outer changes or anxiously look for them. Simply acknowledge them with gratitude and continue to focus on nurturing your inner state of joy and fulfillment. As you persist in this practice of joyful solitude, larger changes will begin to manifest. You may find yourself naturally attracting experiences and opportunities that align with your true self. You may notice that your relationships, when you choose to engage in them, are more fulfilling and authentic. You may discover talents and passions you never knew you had. And as you continue to live from this place of inner fullness, you'll discover that life becomes an exciting adventure of ever-expanding joy and self-discovery. But remember, the outer manifestation is not the goal. The goal is the state of consciousness from which true happiness naturally flows. This is a crucial point, my friends. When you're truly content living alone, when you're fully embodying this state of inner fulfillment, you no longer need external circumstances to confirm your happiness. You're already whole, already complete in your knowing that you are the source of your own joy. And paradoxically, it's in this state of inner completeness that you're most likely to attract experiences and relationships that truly enhance your life. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about the practical aspects of living alone? Don't we need support and companionship to navigate life's challenges? And to this I say, yes, support and companionship are important, but they need not come in the traditional forms that society often prescribes. A woman who's happily living alone often creates a rich network of friends, colleagues, and community members who provide support and companionship without compromising her sense of self or her need for solitude. She might engage in communal activities, join interest groups, or foster deep friendships. The key is that these connections come from a place of choice and alignment rather than need or societal expectation. This is the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness comes from a sense of lack, a feeling that something is missing. Solitude, when embraced fully, is a state of richness, of deep connection with oneself and with the divine. A woman who has mastered the art of living alone happily experiences solitude as a nourishing, rejuvenating state rather than a deprivation. Consider the example of nature. A mighty oak tree stands alone, yet it is not lonely. It is deeply connected to the earth beneath it, to the sky above it, to the ecosystems it supports. In the same way, a woman living joyfully alone is not isolated. She is deeply connected to her own inner resources, to the universal creative force, and to the world around her in a way that honors her need for solitude. But let me be clear. This state of joyful solitude is not passive. It requires an active engagement with life, a deliberate and consistent practice of self-love and self-discovery. It requires faith, not faith in finding the right partner or conforming to societal norms, but faith in the completeness and divinity of one's own being. This faith is not about believing that happiness will come someday in the future, when circumstances change. It's about knowing that you are whole and complete now, in this very moment, and that your inner state is the true source of your happiness. As you cultivate this faith, as you persist in living joyfully alone, you begin to see evidence of your inner fulfillment manifesting in your outer world. These signs may start small, a sense of peace when you return to your own space, a feeling of excitement about pursuing a new interest, a moment of deep contentment while enjoying your own company. Do not discount these signs, no matter how small they may seem, for they are confirmation that your inner world, shaped by your choice to live joyfully alone, is indeed creating a rich and fulfilling life. They are breadcrumbs leading you to the full realization of the happy, fulfilling life you are creating through your conscious choice to embrace solitude. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to address a common concern that arises when people first encounter this idea. Many worry that choosing to live alone happily might somehow make them selfish or disconnected from others. They fear that embracing solitude might mean closing themselves off from love or meaningful connections. But I assure you, my friends, the opposite is true. When you truly understand the principle of finding fulfillment in living alone, you realize that you are not separate from others. As you cultivate inner joy and completeness, you are elevating the consciousness of all. Your contentment, far from disconnecting you from others, actually expands the field of possibilities for all. Moreover, when you are coming from a place of inner fulfillment, you naturally have more to give to others. You become a channel through which joy and love flow, not just to you, but through you to the world. Your choice to live joyfully alone creates a ripple effect, touching the lives of everyone you encounter with your sense of peace and self-assurance. This is the true gift of being a woman who lives alone happily. It's not just about personal fulfillment, although that is certainly a wonderful outcome. It's about aligning yourself with the fundamental nature of the universe, which is boundless joy and love. It's about recognizing your own divine nature and allowing it to express itself fully through you, whether you are in a relationship or not. In this state of alignment, of consistently maintaining an inner state of joy and fulfillment, you become a beacon of light in the world. You demonstrate to others the possibility of finding completeness within oneself. You challenge societal norms that insist on prescribing a one-size-fits-all path to happiness. You become a living example of the truth that happiness is an inner state, not an outer condition. Remember, this state of joyful solitude is not something external to you. It's not some cosmic force that you need to appease or manipulate. It is the natural expression of your own consciousness when it's aligned with the truth of your being. You are the source of your own happiness. You are the one who chooses to live joyfully alone. As we draw our time together to a close, I want to leave you with a final thought. The principle we've explored tonight, why women who live alone are the happiest people you'll ever meet, is not just about living arrangements. It's about recognizing your true nature as a divine creative being. It's about aligning your life with the fundamental truth of your being and allowing your grandest expression of joy and fulfillment to flow through you, regardless of your relationship status. When you live from this understanding, everything changes. The world becomes a friendly place filled with infinite possibilities for joy and self-discovery. You no longer see yourself as incomplete without a partner or defined by your relationships to others. Instead, you recognize yourself as the author of your own happiness, the creator of your own fulfilling life. In this state, whether you choose to live alone or with others, you carry within you the keys to true happiness and contentment. For you understand that the kingdom of heaven is within you, and that by aligning with this inner truth, you can create a life of joy, purpose, and fulfillment, regardless of external circumstances.